Hi, everyone. My name is John Oakes, and I teach math at Macomb Community College in Warren, Michigan. And in this short video, I am going to tell you about a free cloud-based digital whiteboard called Google Jamboard. So if you've already used Google Jamboard or you know about it, I hope that this video will at least give you some tips that maybe you haven't heard of or used before. So to get started with Google Jamboard, you are just going to go to jamboard.google.com, and then once you get there, you can see that on the main screen, you'll have a whole bunch of your previous jams or Jamboards. But if it is your first time here, then to get started, you will click the plus sign down here in the lower right-hand corner, new jam. And I would highly recommend that you go ahead and rename all of the Jamboards to a name that is easy for you to remember. So I am going to say, well, Amatic Video number 1. And then I would, as soon as you make a new Jamboard, especially if you want to share it with your students or anyone else, that you get the share link correct. So what you would do to get that correct is go up here in the upper right-hand corner and then make sure that once you click the share button, that at the bottom, you make sure that in the get link section that it says anyone with the link. And then depending on what you want the person to be able to do with it, or the group of people to be able to do with it, then change it to viewer or editor. So I generally, for my classes and for my students, make sure that I change it to editor, and then I copy the link, and then I'm done with it. Now, here is sort of the most important part for helping you get organized with these breakout room links. So what I would do is I would make a Google Doc or whatever the document program is of your choice that you use, of all of the links for your classes for the semester. So here I have Amatic breakout room links. And then I will go ahead and just make a table here. So Amatic breakout room links. And then in my table, I am going to, let's see, insert table right here. And I'll do 2 of them so that you at least see how it goes. So group and then the link. So what I do is I assign my students to a breakout room or breakout group in advance of the semester. And then on the first day of class, I put in the chat something that looks like this. Here is a link to the Google Jamboard for your group. And then I give the students the responsibility of making sure that they've bookmarked that link for their group for the whole semester so that I don't have to remember to put the link in the chat every time, and I don't use up some of the class time putting the links in the chat. But if for some reason a student does forget which link is theirs, I have a table already made up that I have open before class so that I can put the link in the chat again for the students who may have forgotten it. But in general, though, I do just highly recommend assigning students to groups in advance of the semester and having all of the Google Jamboards prepared before the beginning of the semester. And on top of that, what I will say is I understand that sometimes students will join the class late or they'll drop or whatever it might be. But to avoid some disruption in the groups, I do make one extra group where all of the students who join the class after the first day of class are added to that last group. And then if it only ends up being one student who joins late, I will move them to a different group just temporarily until I know for sure that there's no other students who are going to join. But that is my general procedure for getting started with the semester. So again, let's create a second Jamboard. So let's go to jamboard.google.com again, and then you will click the plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner for new jam. And then I, again, would highly recommend that you title this so that you will be able to find these more easily in the future. And I'll even give you a way in a second to actually organize them to make it easier for you. But then don't forget to click the share button in the upper right hand corner. Then if you want everyone to be able to edit it, all of your students to edit it, then click under get link, anyone with the link, and change this to editor, copy the link, and then click done. And then you come back over here to your Google Doc or whatever place that you're going to keep your information, so that's handy when you are teaching your remote or virtual classes here. And then enter this into the next cell. And again, I always am fairly good about setting all of this up before the semester begins, including the little here's the link to the Google Jamboard for your group, just so that I don't have to go and do a lot of extra stuff during class and use that class time for that type of thing. So now, what can you do with a Google Jamboard? Well, all right, I will give you some examples from my own class this semester. It was a college algebra class, and you can see that I had all of the groups Jamboards opened up in different tabs, because then this way I can see what every group is doing, even if I might not be in their breakout room at the time that they're working. I can at least see them writing on the Jamboard. And so this is what they have done. So you can see this was actually an extra one, like I mentioned, in case any student joined the class late, but no one actually got put in group 10 this semester. But on the first day of class, I had every group come up with a group name. And then this little ribbon here was because I put that there for the group that I thought took first place for the best name and best mascot. And so I do little competitions like that with the different groups just to do something a little bit different. And then you can see here that I put some handouts from the class on the Jamboard, and then the students can work on it, and you can see my check marks when I check them off. And even if I'm in one breakout room, I can still check students off without being in the other breakout room so that they know if they're on the right track. And then again, like some days I will put the all done sticker or whatever it might be, so that the students know that even if I haven't come and visited their breakout room, that I checked their work and that they're good to go for the day and they don't have to wait for me to come back to their breakout room. And so there's different examples here of some of the work that the students have done throughout the semester. And I know that I just added an extra page to theirs, but they'll figure it out at some point that they didn't need it. And I do know that you can rearrange the pages or delete them, but I also know that the pages don't necessarily stay in the order that you put them in. And so I usually just keep on adding to the end so that they don't, the students in the groups don't have to go searching for anything. Now, you might be wondering, where do I get those little like stickers from or whatever it might be? What I will do is I will go to the Google search, and then here we go. And what I do is I might put great work and then search, but then I'll go up here to images. And if I like one that says great work, I might click on it. And then if I like it, then I will right click on the image and then click on copy image address, and then go back to the Jamboard. And here's a little add image area, and I can upload by or select the file by URL. So then I go here, I paste it, and then once I see the image show up, I'll click insert image. And then I can just make sure that the students know that I thought their work was good, even though I may not have been in their breakout room to visit them at that time. Or sometimes I'll just put little stickers on their Jamboards just as a note to myself later of something I wanted to review in the next class, or maybe if I wanted to assign credit for that day, is assignment on the Jamboard, whatever it might be. Now, one thing that I do know is that I was a little bit hesitant about assigning students to the same group for the entire semester, but then I found out that some of the groups are actually still meeting outside of class and using the Jamboard for their group to work on their homework and things like that. So this really does give the students a space to collaborate outside of class as well if they need it. So you can always go around in here and play with the tools that are here, but that's a general overview of how I use Google Jamboard with my students. Now, the other thing that I think that you should know is how to organize the Jamboards once you've created them. So what I would do is, if you have 2 or more Jamboards, then I would go to drive.google.com. So if you are using a Google Jamboard and you have set them all up like this, of course you likely have a Google account at that point, but your students don't need to have one to use it, as long as you make the link available to edit to anyone with the link. So that's why I said that was the important part, because I really don't want to mess with student logins if I don't have to. And the other thing is, like all of these groups, they don't know the other group's links unless the group shares it with them. And so each of the groups is really just working on their own Google Jamboard, and then that's just among the people in their group. So now, to organize all of the Jamboards for one class so that you can find them all in one spot easily, to open them up like I did with the Jamboards like this, all in one tab before a class, what I would do is I would go to my drive.google.com, click on the new button, and then click new folder. And then I'll call it Amatic video just for this demo here, and then click create. And then what I will do is I will click on my recent files here, and then I am going to take my Amatic video number 1 Jamboard, and then I'm going to right click, then click on move to, and go into my drive. And this is one pesky thing, is that you can't like search for the name of the folder that you want it to be added to, but then Amatic video, then move, and then the same thing for Amatic video number 2, right click, and then move to, and then my drive, and then go down to, go down to Amatic video, and then click move here. And then when I go to my drive, then if I want to prepare for a class, what I will do is I will just go ahead and click here, and there's Amatic video number 1 and 2, and I can open them all up right before class quickly. Now, the other thing is that what I would do also is I would move this breakout link, the breakout link document, to that same folder as well. And then you can see that you can find it all very, very, very quickly and open everything up efficiently before your class. Now, one last tip that I will give you is that I would also keep a Google spreadsheet or some sort of spreadsheet, and I'll show you what I have here, of the students and their names and email addresses and breakout room numbers. Now, I've of course cut off everyone's names for privacy reasons here, but you can see that I have the students' names that are organized by breakout room numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, so that during class I can see who is in each breakout room quickly. But I also have the students organized in a column by first name so that I can take attendance fairly quickly, because if you use certain platforms for your virtual or remote classes, you will, of course, notice that the names are in alphabetical order. So sometimes during class, I need the students in order by breakout room number. And sometimes during class, I need the students in order by alphabetical order of their first name, so that I can put over here in this right column a check mark whether they were there for the day or not fairly quickly. And then that will also help me in a sense, like gather how many people might be in a breakout room by themselves for the day, or something like that, and I'll move them to a different discussion group just for one day or whatever it might be. So there are my tips for using Google Jamboard, and I really hope that you decide to give it a chance. And if you do, I would love to hear from you. And then also, I would be more than happy to answer your questions or give you some other pointers, or even learn from you if you have an idea that I did not show in this video. So I hope that you found this helpful, and have a great day.